So the United States will aggressively revoke visas of Chinese students. That is the message, the warning, and the threat, really, now coming from the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, announcing that the Department of State will be targeting those, quote, with connections to the Chinese Communist Party or studying in critical fields. This is expected to further rock the already shaky 90-day truce with China on tariffs with the Trump administration, and also further rock this blanket of uncertainty hanging over colleges and universities across the country, first and foremost when it comes to Harvard. For 15 years, China was the top source of international students studying in the United States. That is until India took the lead just last year. So let's get this. It could have a huge impact. CNN's Jennifer Hansler has much more on this. She's tracking this announcement. And Jen, what are you learning about what the Secretary of State is saying here?
Well, Kate, this surprise announcement from Secretary Rubio last night is a further escalation of tensions with Beijing and is also poised to be a further blow to higher education institutions here in the United States. Now, this announcement was pretty sparse on details. It says that they will aggressively revoke visas for Chinese students, including those with connections to the Chinese Communist Party or studying in critical fields. But the Secretary of State does not define what those critical fields are or how they are going to establish a connection to the CCP, given how ubiquitous it is in China. Will it just be that a family member is a member, that the student themselves is a member? Those questions remain unanswered. Now, there's also questions about how they are going to further revise their visa vetting process for those from China in Hong Kong. It is notable that the Secretary of State said they would be working with the Department of Homeland Security on the visa revocations, which indicates that they are going to be aggressive about potentially not allowing these students to remain in the United States once their visas are revoked. Now, this is just among a slew of actions that the administration has taken over the past several days, targeting visas, especially those for international students. On Tuesday, the State Department ordered all of its embassies and consulates around the world to pause all new visa appointments for student and exchange visa applicants. This pause is so they can work on an expanded social media vetting policy. They say that this policy guidance is going to be rolled out in the coming days, but it is likely to have an impact on the number of students who will be able to obtain those visas and come and study here in the United States. That, in turn, of course, Kate, is going to impact the universities here who rely on these students for enrollment numbers and tuition money. I should also note that they escalated their feud with Harvard. I learned from senior administration officials last night that they are now reviewing the visas of all Harvard-affiliated visa holders, not just students, Kate.
That is an important new development as well. Thank you so much, and great reporting as always.
In another blow to international students in higher education across the U.S., the State Department says that it will work with the Department of Homeland Security to stop some Chinese students from attending school in the U.S. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced Wednesday that the administration will, quote, aggressively revoke visas for Chinese students, including those with connections to the Chinese Communist Party or studying in critical fields. Now, it's unclear exactly how many are affected, but according to a government report, more than 275,000 students from China studied in the United States in 2023 to 2024 in that academic year. Meantime, there is a new escalation in President Trump's feud with Harvard. Senior State Department officials telling CNN the agency is now reviewing all visa holders affiliated with Harvard, not just students. The officials did not say why the review was being conducted, though. On Wednesday, Trump suggested that the Ivy League school should have a 15% cap on the percentage of foreign students that it accepts.
We want to know where those students come. Are they troublemakers? What countries do they come? And we're not going to, if somebody is coming from a certain country and they're 100% fine, which I hope most of them are, but many of them won't be, you're going to see some very radical people. They're taking people from areas of the world that are very radicalized, and we don't want them making trouble in our country.
On Thursday,